yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It's time. It's time for Study Monday. Oh, Jesus. It is Study Monday time. And we're gonna do studies of all studies, horses. Uh, Jesus. Kuru, our very own Kuru, challenged me to do a horse study. And I am not a guy to back down from a horse study. So here we are. Ready. Ready. Hey Yatsuki, Ziali, Jenny, how's it going? Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Moon Day. Hey Kilrathi. What up, yo? Whew. That is craziness, right? Again, if anyone want to do the study, as per usual, that should be a clickable link. It is. You can join in the chaos. Really weird noise. Anyways. Oh, Kilrathi, you will join in? Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so we gotta up our horses game according to Kuru. Let's, instead of laughing at our amazing abilities at making horses from memory, um, let's see if I can actually find our fantastic attempts as horses. I think they should be. Ability to go, oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Oh yeah. April. There we go. Look at that. Juicy horse. There's another horse from memory. Oh, what is that? That is good. Where's more? Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Oh yeah, look at that. Chihuahua. I mean, up your game, man. Atsuki. You gotta do better than this today with this today's study. Time for redemption. And Svensson, you gotta up your game too. This was one of my all-time favorites. It was so good. Kill me, Bjorn. It's so good. And Zielin. Why? It's so good. I loved it. It was so funny. Oh, I didn't post mine. But yeah, we gotta redeem ourselves here. Hey Lama, good morning. Zielin, yeah, the horses from imagination was pure hilarity. It was so good. So beautiful. Yeah, Lama, it was April this year. I challenged, after the stream, I challenged everyone to draw a horse. And hilarity ensued. Lots of hornless unicorns. I don't know what it was, but it was like man in horse suits. Yeah, I don't know what. Hey Bruno, how's it going? So again, here's the reference if anyone want to join in on the study. I will start now. Okay, so what I'm going to try to capture is the color and pose, general proportions. So I will first kind of I guess do that ish. Should be greener. Kind of like it's a cool green. Kind of like, let's go with that. How was everyone's weekend? I'm just gonna kind of just do a little bit of framing so I have something to work with. For me, I was planning on streaming, but what happened in the end was I didn't do anything. I just sat, relaxed, didn't do nothing. Nothing. Absolutely zero. You gotta have one of those weekends as well. I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to stream. It was like I thinking, yeah, that would be so much fun, hang out with people. And then I thought, oh, but then I need to be serious for like at least 2, 3 hours. And then I thought, be serious for 2, 3 hours or doing nothing. Uh, let's go with nothing. Far better. So that's what I ended up doing. Absolutely zero. Hanging out with my kids, going to some stores, buying some some Christmas time stuff, YouTubing. You got to do that sometimes, right? You got to just don't do anything to charge your batteries, right? So let's see. That blue is very saturated. It's like a purpley desaturated. Is there somewhere? Kinda. Let's just see actually. Oh, look at that. Like a laser. I'm gonna just quickly try to block that thing in. I'm gonna have a underpaint, I think of. Damn you horse. The proportions are already making me laugh. Yeah, I really gotta pay attention to the proportions here, or we're gonna be laughing, and not in a positive way, but in a very, very negative way. One good way of doing this, by the way, in general, I'll try to quickly explain the thought process. The thought process is like you look at it in squares, you square it up, or you try to square it up in even things. So when you're drawing in your mind, you do the same squares, right? So like in the middle of the middle should be the head, and so on and so on. And you could also actually draw these out to make it easier for you to understand where you're going. But what I do is I try to just mentally draw these lines. And because I just quickly mentally trying to draw these lines, they are not becoming super accurate. But that is the basis. Like now I'm looking at like a line there, and I'm looking where this starts and that starts versus the head kind of. So I see that I've made a mistake here because I'm kind of mapping everything with each other as I'm going along, and it's not a perfect technique if you don't do it correctly, but it's a helpful thing when you're trying to nail um, proportions. And a guy, Alex Heath, who worked at the studio, who now left, he he's at the art academy in London, or was an instructor, and he mentioned that you should like jot the eyes back and forth, which is clear. It's not a surprise to any of you, but it's you'll be surprised how much that helps when you're trying to place proportions, when you keep going back and forth with the eyes on something, and you start seeing the mistakes clearer because you're jumping in between. Hey, Dame Deviant, how's it going? Shartha, Bows. Ow! Here's the reference. Today is Study Monday. Let's study horses. God damn. Okay, let's see. I'm off here. That should go up a bit, down a bit. What's happening there? Why is the shape wrong? Shape should be kind of like that. That is too high. Oh, shut up, you phone! How dare you? How dare you notify me? Rude. Okay. That's way too much. This is actually a really healthy thing to do, is like blocking in a shape and then not changing the shape and only rendering inside. Like a friend of mine, Patry Balanovsky, um, Dame Deviant. Yeah, I just talked about a mapping technique, about like drawing it and thinking about it in grids, in squares, and trying to map it out that way. So if you want to listen to that, just wait until the stream ends and you can catch the pod. And it's in the beginning. I talked about it, and it's easier to manage something when you kind of squaring it into a grid. Even I'm doing it now mentally. I'm like mapping it out, comparing it to each part constantly to see where I'm off, and I explained the kind of like the system. It's a very common system in fine art, and not a lot of digital artists necessarily know about it because not fine artists in general, or that path. But I'm by no means saying I'm like the master, like observer here. I am actually quite bad at doing like these 30-minute accurate drawings. They are usually, what happens is they're usually quite wonky. I know I'm off here, but I'm also contemplating, is it worth spending more time on it? Because I only have 30 minutes. Where am I? 10 minutes in, plotting it out. I'd say I should probably stop about now before doing anything more. Before spending too much time on plotting. But maybe it's a necessary evil, who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna jump ahead. I was getting to all over the place. Pat Balnovsky, ArtStation. This guy, you can have a look at his stuff. He does this one thing he call, I don't remember what he calls them, but he puts a shape up and then he draws within the shape to try to create something of the shape, right? It's a random generated shape. He offers the shape up for other people to also um, draw from, and it's like a friendly competition. Um, and what I wanted to get to with that is that it's a really, really good exercise in understanding what the form does, because in that challenge you're not supposed to change the form, right? It is set. You have to render within it. You can rotate it around. You can, spin it around until you see something that, there's no up and down on the random form, but you have to render what's there. And I think that's a really, really good practice in terms of um, like understanding the importance of it, because you can get some really, really cool results without even touching the silhouette, right? You have to just stick with the silhouette and paint what's there, what you see within the shape, and there you have to like make do with the space you have, with the presentation, whatever presentation you can muster. That's that's going to be your explanation of it, right? Or your visual. I don't know how to put it into words, but yeah, you get it. But so it's really, really cool, and it's a really great practice, and it's the same kind of like what I do now to some degree, is that like I'm locking the silhouette, and I'm forcing everything into the shape now, right? I'm hopefully done changing the silhouette. I don't want to change it anymore. Um, which in itself is a fun challenge and a great way to study something. Shout out to Pat Polonowski. So he also has Instagram where he posts a lot. I think he stopped posting at Facebook, but he posts that challenge on his Instagram. So if it sounds like a fun idea, just find him on Instagram. It's probably the same name, Pat Polonowski, and join in. It's really, really good fun. I have done a few. I gotta switch up our station. I've done a few, and it's really good fun. I used to do that a lot, manually or with traditional media. I used to go and ask people to draw random doodles on printed paper. I had, like, bought a pack of printed papers, and I went to strangers and asked, "Sorry, could you just do me this favor and draw a squiggly, on the paper?" And they were usually extremely confused. And I showed them an example afterwards. Like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do with it. I just want, like, explain it. I just want unbiased start. And they were like, "Oh, that's interesting," and usually spend some time discussing it, to explaining it and so on. But it's and then when I got the squiggly, I would draw something out of it with pencil, define it. I would have a big stack of that, so I could just sit and, turn the paper around, twist and turn, see what comes out, and then eventually, um, seeing something and drawing, which was a really good challenge as well. Ramo halfway. God Damn. Hey, that toothbrush is get good. Und du? How do you say it? Immer gets good? Or something like that. Oh man, my German is bullshit. It's so shitty. Alles gut. Alles gut. I'm quite sure that if I would go to Germany, my German would go back to like pure power in a month in a month. But now it's like Latvian and German like flows together for me in a really awkward way. And then when I start doubting the German or Latvian validity, I start hesitating and I go to Swedish and it's like, is this the way you speak in Swedish or German or Latvian? And everything just grinds to a screeching halt. My German is lost. But Latvian, not so much. Latvian is the opposite. Latvian, I don't doubt. Only a few keywords that are too close to German or Swedish. I go like, oh, what's the correct version of it? But yeah, German is definitely the weaker of them. But I had it for 9 years in school. I got like I passed German. My German is pretty decent. I could definitely like survive in German. Oh, you having German lessons then, Toothbrush? That's cool. German and Swedish, kind of similar. As I see German in comparison to Swedish is like g- go old school Swedish and Germanify it, Germanize it, and you got German. But there's no clear bridge other than similarities, kind of in my mind at least. I mean, I think they have the same base language, right? Germanic. Uh, I'm doubting though that Swedish is Germanic, maybe, but there's definitely similarities. Like Geschäft, like that's a store, right? And in Swedish it's affär. For me, that sounds quite similar, way more than store to affär. It's Geschäft, affär. For me, that's like in my strange brain, that's similar. And like, yeah, it's like there's a lot of these kind of weird bridges in my brain. So that's why, for example, I have had it easy to learn German, even though when I learned German, I was a shit student. It still stuck with me a lot. And I mean, I at least could talk really well German to German people. Now I would struggle because I haven't used it in quite some time. So I'm contemplating like saying that I don't speak German anymore to the I mean I do speak German, but not like perfect fluent like I speak English or Swedish. So I'm contemplating I'm not saying I could speak German, but I kind of still understand it fully. Like I can listen to German movies and understand 90% of it, except those weird words that you is like very specific that you wouldn't learn in school. Then I would struggle. I would have to double take that word. Hey, Dr. Sheldon, how's it going? Yeah, exactly. It's kind of similar. And again, if anyone want to do the study, there's the reference. So what I've been purposely doing with the reference is not going full blast on all the values. I'm kind of adding the values, the darker tones now, and I wanna go in with the like the punch, later. I also want to use something in the sense of color dodge to give warmth to everything. I want to it's a half an hour. I don't have time to do like the proper underpainting and making everything vibrant as it should be by default. So what I gotta have to do, I gotta have to do is fake it. Just more like a purple gray, kinda. Neutral gray? Hey, Amir, how's it going? That toothbrush is all in German. That's pretty fascinating. So, Amir, I had a look at our old Draw a Horse from Memory challenge, and you, sir, did not do a good job, Amir. So, I challenge you to do Study Monday, redeem your honor, make a horse. Because, man, yours in particular was it was interesting to say the least. And zeolin, and you should also do it. Hey, narrator, how's it going? How's it going? Oh, now I see massive mistakes in the head area. Rip. Let's proceed. Let's ignore it's not there. A liquify will correct it. Da-na-na-na-na. The mistake doesn't exist. Look away. Don't pay any attention to the head. Don't you dare look at the head. Zeolin, yeah. You got to do it else as well. Zeolin and what's the other one with the Z? Atsuki. I mean, that's good. That's good. You gotta you Kuru on Discord. He challenged me. I gotta do a horse study because he had done one, and I kind of shat on his study a bit, saying the proportions are off and so on. But his study was actually really good. His modeling was really well made in the sense of construction of like the masses. And then he said, "Oh yeah, you do it." Of course, I have to do it. I can't sit and dish out shit if I can't take it. So here I am making excuses for myself. Yeah, the head is way off. I knew it. I knew like when I did the blocking, I did talk about that the proportions are off and I have to go with it. And I knew the head area was off. I knew it. I knew it. As you can see, the head area is way off. But nevertheless, the show must go on. 3 minutes. God damn. Kuru, I don't know if Kuru did it in 30 minutes, but nevertheless, it was a study. It doesn't look like 30 minutes. And Kuru isn't like an amazing speed painter, so I doubt it's 30 minutes. But it doesn't matter, the speed of it. The fact that he did it, and he did it quite accurately, is what matters. I only do it for 30 minutes because I don't have a choice. Not that I think a study should only take 30 minutes, mind you. A study can take hours. It doesn't matter. It's doing a study just means that you want to learn something new, right? You don't doesn't necessarily needs to be done quick. It can even be counterproductive to do it too quick. You might not learn anything. You might just rush. Yeah, focus mode here, going silent. The musculature in the chest is on a horse is so interesting. There's so many volumes there. That itself could be a fun study. Just doing like anatomical sketches in how the musculature works on a horse torso or front of the horse, whatever that's called. Should be way grayer. Oh, time is running out. Ah, shit. This is so fun to do in such a small time. And it's panic, constant panic. It's a really fun challenge. Love it. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. A little bit. Just quickly cheat a little bit. Just to help with the some of the kind of energy of the piece. And then fix the hair a little bit. Just some fancy pants strands, just so it's somewhat. And then fade the background a bit. I need to do that. It needs to feel like it's impacting here. And then the shadow. And then lastly, a quick little liquify. Is that kind of how it was? Oh no. Too much? Too much. Ah! It'll have to be. Yeah. Hey, Kuru, you see? You see? I'm a man of my word. You challenged me, I did it. It's not the most amazing horse accuracy, but it's okay for, I would say it's okay for half an hour. It's not too bad for half an hour. I think it has to be a little bit more like this. I think that was a bit too much. I have to desaturate. I don't like that blooming. Come on. Oh yeah, because it doesn't matter anymore. Because it's smushed. It is a fine horse. It is a horse. It's not the most amazing horse ever, but it's close enough. So yeah, if anyone want to do the horse, there's the reference. Let's have a look at who we can raid. Let's raid. Ah, cool. All right, I have a victim. I have a victim. Thanks all for joining. Have a good night. Have a great day if you're in that part of the world. And see you guys tomorrow for your topic. I will draw your topic. So be ready. We're going to go dark fantasy still. So wizard, elves. I'll just try to darkify it, make it a little bit more dirty and evil. Anyways, we're going to be raiding Zozomaika. After the outro, I will switch over, so hang tight. See you guys tomorrow. You guys are the best. Peace.